This show is brought to you by NatureBox. Go to naturebox.com/Joey right now and get the right snack for 2016. Say goodbye to weird mystery ingredients and start snacking confidently with NatureBox. Visit naturebox.com/Joey to get 50% off your first box now. Go to headspace.com/Joey and take. This show is also brought to you by headspace.com. Go to headspace.com/Joey and download the free Headspace app and begin their Take 10 program for 10 days of guided meditation. And the show is brought to you by Onnit.com. Go to Onnit.com and use code word church to get 10% off all the great optimization products like Alpha Brain and New Mood.
What the fuck, Lee Syatt?
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, my man? Wednesday night, February 17th. Happy birthday to my little brother, Ralphie May. I don't know how old he is today. A lot of fucking birthdays in February. My friend John Budd yesterday. It never ends in fucking February. Friday is my birthday.
My dad's birthday is the day
Your
before.
dad's birthday was today or yesterday?
It's the 18th.
The 18th. I fucking wished him a happy birthday today. Fuck it. I was a day early and $1 short. What are you going to do? But at least I wished him a happy birthday.
Oh, he'll love it.
And we're headed to Las Vegas.
I'm so excited.
I'm shooting over tomorrow. You're shooting over Friday morning. I'm doing MMA Junkie as usual. Get a couple shrimp cocktails with my man Lee Syatt. Lee Syatt, you don't eat the oysters.
Nah, I should try them again, I guess. When
What
I
did I
was
choke on last time? The shrimp cocktail.
You choked on a shrimp cocktail?
Remember the shrimp at the fucking table with
oh,
salami?
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
When I choked on the shell.
Oh, yeah.
The shell.
I don't like that. Fucking take the shells off.
I did take the shell off.
No. I'm not saying you.
No, it was my fault.
No, I'm saying I want the
into
restaurant to do it. Fuck
Really?
shells. Except for maybe the one little one at the bottom.
That what it was. I bit into the bottom. You know me, I'm a gorilla. I almost bit my finger. I was high as fuck.
Okay.
And I took some of the shell and I started choking on the shell. I tried to move the shell around with my throat, but I couldn't do it. It was like a fucking piranha, that snake in me. I was in the car today. I was getting home from somewhere, and the phone rang, and it was a friend of mine, James, to ask me a question. And it was funny. He started telling me about my daughter. And on paper, James is Mercy's goddad.
Right, we met.
And you met him, and I was really fortunate when it was time for me to pick a goddad. I had a couple options, I could have picked Timmy, I could have picked George, I could have picked you, blah, 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 blah. And I just knew James a long time. James had a daughter, and in my world, if something happened, James automatically takes Mercy. That's in my world. That's in a perfect fucking world.
When do you think about like godparents? Because when she first comes out, you must be so happy. Godparents is kind of
when
sad
the baby's
thing.
fucking born. When you knock somebody up. If you're a guy like me, you'll think about godparents, okay? Because my godparents were everything. So James calls, and James sends stuff for her birthday, and James sends stuff throughout the year, and that's all great. I'm really happy that he calls, and sometimes I go say hello to James, and she goes, hi, James, and she'll go, hi, Padrino, or she'll walk away, and that's the end of the conversation. Besides that, she really doesn't know what it all means, But Mercy is now 3. My daughter is 3. And by this time in my life, my dad was gone. So my mom, at an early age, they baptized me when I was like, whatever it is, 4 months old in Cuba.
Is that early?
No, that's about the time we baptized Mercy, 6 months old, whatever the fuck it was. They baptized me in Cuba, and then they all migrated together. They were all Americans already. They had been in the States already. And when I was born, they came to Cuba for vacation. I had a godmother. But somewhere over the years, my godfather and my godmother broke up. And it was one of those dirty divorces with no kids. But my godfather got me. It was the weirdest thing. And since he lived in New York, and my godmother lived in Miami, I really didn't have that much contact with my godmother. What had happened was my mother was so loyal to Gabby. That was my godfather's name, Gabby Lang, right? She was so loyal to him that, when there's a divorce, you have to pick a side. A lot of people don't know that.
So they took the godparents in the divorce. So who you had to get a new
No, no, no,
godmother?
no, 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 no. When they got divorced,
Right,
my mom was tighter. My mom and dad had grown up with Gabby.
right.
So they hung out with Gabby. So they kind of steered away from my godmother.
Okay.
You follow me? So then that was that. I didn't really have a godmother after that. But in the summers, when I would go to Miami, I would see my godmother. She'd sneak over and give me money and give me jewelry and hang out with me. She was fucking beautiful. I forget what her name was, like Samantha or something. She was blonde haired, blue eyed Cuban woman. And my mom said her and I were really tight. Like it was a heartbreaking thing for everybody involved. But my mom had to make a choice. Your parents got divorced. I'm sure that your dad's friends went with your dad, and
Yeah,
your mom's friends went with your mom's. That's what happens during a divorce.
of course.
Same thing happened with this. So I was tighter with my godfather because he lived in New York City. So the privilege that I had was that he would pick me up on Saturday mornings. And we'd do creepy things. Like we'd go get a haircut. And then he'd stop at like some weird guy's house. And then we'd fucking go get a hot dog. And then we'd talk about cars or something. And he'd buy me like a Hot Wheels. And then we'd go to a movie theater and we'd watch like a James Bond movie. Or like The Love Bug. Or, you know, some fucking, not Disney, but the other ones. Snoopy. You know, he took me through a few animated films, you know. And he was just a cool dude. And he'd bring me back like at 6. And he'd take me to eat Chinese food. And then as I got older, he would smoke in front of me.
Weed.
Yeah, he would smoke weed in front of me. And I would see a man, that was the first person I ever saw giggle. Like he would just constantly giggle, like when he got high. We would go to like, he would roll it on like a street corner. And he'd smoke it on the street. And he would tell me not to tell my mother. But I already knew about that shit because my mother smoked something that was similar to that. You follow me? So I kind of put 2 and 2 together. That's how I knew my mother was smoking pot. But my mother's reaction to reefer, my mother smoked reefer to go to bed. Gabby smoked reefer for the same reasons I smoked reefer today. To giggle, to have a great time, to just add color to life. And then him and I would go to the movies. You know what I'm saying? So by the time I got to be like 7 or 8, he took me to see a fucking Clint Eastwood movie. He took me to see one of those Dirty Harry movies, right?
Okay.
And maybe I was a little older. Maybe I was 10. Who the fuck knows? I was a fucking kid, you know? And after the movie, he's telling me about his gun. He's telling me all about Clint Eastwood's gun. Dirty Harry's got a 344 Mac, whatever the fuck gun he had in the movie. And then we're sitting there, and we go to eat something, and right away he takes the gun out from under the table.
Mm-hmm.
And I see him doing something, and I look under the table, and he hands me the gun. And here I am, a kid in some fucking restaurant in New York City, holding a gun in a restaurant. This is how cool he was.
Whoa.
I wasn't allowed to
My heart just stopped, and I'm 27.
I wasn't allowed to tell my mother none of this shit. He would say, don't say nothing to your mother because she'll kill me. And then I won't be able to see you on Saturdays. I couldn't imagine my life on Saturdays without Gabby. On Saturdays at my house, it was a weird day because by Saturday, my mother was dead tired. So Saturday mornings, it was already established that this lady came over, a lady whose name was Sophia. In fact, her name was Sophia Cecilia. That was the lady who my mother took her name and used it as an alias and then paid her money all those years. She was Goying's mother, this lady who my mom and
What's
her...
Goying?
Goying was a Puerto Rican woman.
That's not a person's name. Goying?
That was her name. That was that was her slang name. Goying was a Puerto Rican woman who her and my mom had like a little bank in like the 60s, a bookmaking bank, 2 broads. And they took numbers and they knew how to take numbers. And people knew who the fuck these 2 women were. And then Goying kept the bank close to her house in Brooklyn, and my mom kept her bank in the Bronx, and then it moved to Manhattan over the years. So that's a true story. So on Saturdays, it was well known that at 8 in the morning the key would turn, and it was fucking Sophia. And I'd be sitting in front of the television. I'd be a young kid, maybe 3 or 4, And Sophia would walk in and give me cereal with milk, and then she'd talk to me in Spanish for
Sure.
a little while, for like an hour or two. And while she was doing that, she was doing laundry and ironing clothes and folding clothes and cleaning the house. My mom would be passed the fuck out. And then about 11, about 10, I already knew to jump in the shower on my own. I would jump in there, and I was a young boy. I would jump in the shower and get combed up, and I'd put a chain on and a ring and nice shoes. And about 11 o'clock, it never failed, my godfather would come and get me. And if it was the wintertime, we put a fucking hooded sweatshirt on or a jacket. If it was the summertime, we just went out. And we would just do weird things. It was like the only man I really had in my life. One time, he took me down to Riverside Drive there, like by 89th, 90th Street. There's like a tomb there, Washington's whatever, or Lincoln's something. There's some statue there. And I'll never forget that a dude was walking his dogs, and he had the one leash, the dog's off the leash. And the one dog came over and just snipped me, and how fucking Gabilan went off on the fucking guy. And I always thought he was on a superhero too, because he was because until then I didn't even know what he was. I didn't know whether he was a stoner. I didn't know none of those terms. I knew during the week he had a job. That's why I saw him on Saturdays. Do you follow me? Like during the week I'd never see him. He had like some type of job. So I just see him on Saturdays.
Were you always really excited to see him?
Fuck yeah.
What I had two male uncles who were or cousins who were older, and like whenever they came over, it was just like superheroes almost. Was it like that, or like because you didn't have a father, so I can imagine it would be even more.
Yeah, I loved him. I fucking loved him. When he would take me on those journeys around Manhattan and shit, and he never drank in front of me. He just smoked pot in front of me. Like I never saw him really drink till I got older. Like he always just smoked like a skinny joint in front of me. He rolled his joints really skinny, and he would go. He'd make like a noise at the end, and he'd hold it in for a long time, and he'd go, Jose Antonio. He always called me Jose Antonio, right? And I don't know. It was the fucking weirdest relationship. Like I think back to, I was always with him in New York, even after Juan married my mother. Every Saturday, like clockwork. And if I was a bad boy, my punishment was not to see Gabby.
Was it the worst thing that
The
your mom
worst.
could do?
Yeah, that was like taking my privileges from seeing my godfather were fucking brutal. Brutal. And then I got older, and I would still see him. And then we moved to Jersey, and I didn't see him for a while, and he'd call me. I always talked to him, and he always like mailed me letters with pictures and shit. And I couldn't figure out. And then years later, I found out he was doing time. Like he was doing time for little shit in Miami. He would go to Miami in the summers, and then come to New York in the fucking winters. And and this is where I'm going with this, that I wish Mercy had a godparent that I could just go take her on Saturdays or take her on Sundays. Have a good day. Bye. And, they go get ice cream. She goes, gets her nails done. They go to the fucking movies. They go buy dresses. Whatever the fuck they go do. I would love to have that. Like, I think that Mercy would like it too. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is to have a godparent. That's why the commitment is so heavy. I was fortunate because my godfather did not have children. Do you follow me?
So he had a lot of love to give.
He had a lot of love for me, and he didn't have his hands filled with another child.
Do you want Mercy to have a godmother or godfather?
I like for one of them to be well. James is active. James talks to her. When we went to New York, James came to see her once, and then we all went out to eat. James. These people. The people I grew. Listen. Now, there's two types of culture of people. There's the people in California that I have around me now, and there's the people that I grew up with. When I went home, just the people that came to see her and came and chatted with her and said, I know your dad, or whatever the fuck, it makes me feel good, that I have somebody if something happens to me, like it just, and the people that I grew up around, their culture calls for a godparent. Like James, for example. he's tight with his godmother. I don't know if he's tight with his godfather, but he's tight with his godmother. His godmother and his mother were sisters. They were together when James's mother died.
Jesus.
So, do you understand me?
I wonder why it's not that big for Jews. Cause maybe it is
Well,
for some,
maybe
but it's not for. It hasn't been for my family.
Well, okay. Now, let's say you're Jewish. Let's say whatever the fuck you are. Just because you're not Catholic doesn't mean that your parents don't have godparents.
Oh, I have a godparent, but we didn't have like a ongoing. He's just also an uncle. He's an uncle who is my godparent.
No, I always dreamed to be somebody's godparent, but if I was their godparent, I'd be their godparent on one condition, that I'd be involved. The calls, a bank account with me putting money in there for their savings, for their college. That's a godparent.
Yeah.
Every week I show up. You know, when the kid's fucking 12, the parents look at me and go, take him to get his dick sucked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to take him to some alley and get his dick sucked. Like, you know, like they expect the godfather to do shit like that. Like, you know, if I'm your kid's godchild,
right?
When you're 13, you're going to come to me to pull me aside and go, listen, the fucking mom, Paula, she protects this kid. Take him down to North Hollywood Park and get him into a beat. It's easier if I'm not there. Just call me. Make sure you don't get
stitched up. Why are you putting it out there already?
What's that?
Why are you putting it out there already?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that that's what a godparent, a cool godparent does. You pull me aside and go, listen.
Take him down and get a beat.
Talk to your goddaughter before I knock the fuck out of her. She's dating some fucking black dude, and I can't have that in my house. My mother will disown me. I'm not in a will. You know what I'm saying? Like something. I'm not meaning a black dude. I'm meaning anything. Anything. Could be a fucking Arabian dude. Who's fucking better than you, Lee Syatt? Anyway, I'm just fucking saying that's what you also do. Like, when I got in trouble as a child, my godparent would have to come over and give me a fucking lecture. So it wasn't bad enough I had to get a ear beaten from my mom and ear beaten from my stepdad. Now in an hour, Gabby was on his way here to ask me if I was fucking retarded. Like, what are you, stupid, throwing fucking, you know, like shit like that.
Which one was the worst? Which one did you hate the most? I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Gabby was the one that is one of the reasons I'm the way I am with people, because Gabby was the type of guy that he would show up day 2 of the punish. And usually the punishments were fucking 24 hours of writing. Like, I will not lie to my mother. I will not take my mother's pencils. I will not, and I would have to write them in Spanish and English, you know, like lines, shit like that. And he would come like day 3, and he would go to my parents, you know, my mom and dad. He'd go, can I talk to him for a second in the bedroom? And they'd have to do the whole acting game and go, oh, yeah, but you better know that whatever time he spends in there, he's going to have to stay past his bedtime to fucking write, you know, shit like that. And I would go in there, and he would sit me down and ask me what the fuck was up with me. Why did I do what I do? Your mother told you not to take the fucking pencils. When I was a kid, I took every pencil at that fucking bar. The red ones, I loved red pencils, so I took every red pencil. I took every pencil. And she would ask me, did you take the pencils? Because I keep thinking it's one of the pages. Like, he's taking the pencils. And I kept saying no. One day she found like 300 pencils, and she went apeshit. I asked you 1,000 times if you took the fucking pencils. She goes, I need these pencils. These are specific fucking pencils. So I got in trouble for the pencils.
Did you just like lying, or like why would you do that?
No. She was mad at me about the pencils.
Well, yeah, like why did you like these
Lee, when you're
pencils?
fucking 7, who the fuck knows why you do what you do? Who the fuck knows? One time I took one of those 45, you know those albums?
Yeah.
And I would take the bad ones and I'd throw them out my window. And they go zzz. And one day I actually clocked somebody in the fucking head.
Of course you did.
And the cops knocked on every door, and my mom knew I did it because she had seen me fucking do it. You know, she saw me do it. My window was perpendicular to a driveway where all the kids played stickball. Me too. I'd played out there.
It was in Jersey or New York?
No, this is New York City. In 205 West 88th Street. Not anymore. Yes, there is. There's a parking in there now. But when I was a kid, that wasn't a parking. That was just an empty driveway of a building. and that was just broken. Like there was bricks out there. And one time, behind, there's another building back to this.
Yeah.
The stairs. I lit a fire back there one time.
Was it at least a good shot when you hit the guy in the head with the record? Did it, like you really get him good?
Oh my God! At that time, I was the best at throwing shit out windows and hitting people in the head.
Wait, I just imagine you hit him like straight across the middle of the face.
One time, I was in Puerto Rico on vacation. I had to be maybe 8 or 9. And I threw a fucking ice cube off the balcony, like the 5th floor or something, right? And all of a sudden they knocked on all the hotel rooms and they knew it was us. And the fucking cops came and shit. They had to take the dude to the hospital.
You hit him?
Yeah, me and Tony Crespo. That was the kid's name, Tony Crespo, Puerto Rican kid. His mom was dating a big black dude named Anthony. Like 6'6", 400 pounds. I'll never forget this shit, though. Anyway, back to my God. What do you got to fucking throw me off for, cocksucker?
Who knows?
So you did have a godfather.
Yeah.
Now, did this guy have to do something different in the Jewish religion?
I don't think so.
He doesn't have to stand somewhere and take a class on how to be a godfather and none of that shit.
Not that I know of, but I could just not know. That's a possibility. But, I mean, he's a good uncle. Like, him and my dad are really, like, best friends.
Still?
Yeah, pretty close, yeah.
Now, who's the uncle that lives here? You said you have a cousin in Sherman Oaks, that he works in the film industry.
Oh, that's a cousin on my mom's side. Yeah, he came out here.
I didn't know if in the Jewish faith you had somebody who stood in with you. I don't even know if in the Christian faith. I know in the Catholic faith, people have baptisms, and that's great. That's one of the sacraments, okay? But do people live the life of it? No, not the way. You know, I come from a fucked up kind of childhood and upbringing, but that was something that they stuck to the T. You know, he stuck it to the T. And I can't, like I said, he lived in Miami for a while during the late 70s, and he would call. He would always call. Jose Antonio, ¿cómo está? ¿Cómo están los jurados? He'd always ask me about my grades. And he was always trying to push this military academy on me. He was always pushing this Loyola.
From what age?
He started pushing on me on the age of 10. Like when I was going to Catholic school, he was already talking to me about it. I think it's a good idea if you go to the school, and then from there you go into the service, and then you come out an officer, and you go back into the service, and you do 20 years, and you come out an attorney. That was his dream for me. All right, that's what he would always talk to me about. So, ¿tú me entiendes? Tú vas, te firma en Loyola, te vas para el ejército, sale, va para el colegio, sale, te va para atrás para el ejército, y sale. Entonces, yeah, he would always push that issue. I don't know, wow, you're a lawyer. He would always talk to me about that shit, Lee. And I would ask him, why a lawyer? And he goes, because they're fucking the best thieves in the world. They fucking, he would tell me, you know, when I pay my fucking lawyer. And he kept pushing it on me. And then something happened. I don't know what the fuck happened. When I was about 13, not that him and I got into a beef or something. Something happened. He got pissed off at me about something. Like he found out I was smoking weed, or he saw boo, something. And he just didn't like it, you know. And he didn't talk to me for a while. And my mom said that. My mom came to me one day. She goes, he's just pissed at you about something. I don't know. That's between you and him. He wouldn't tell me. That's the type of dude he was. He wouldn't complain to my mom. He was fucking solid, man, like that. Like, if he was mad at me, he was mad at me. When he dropped me on Saturday, he would give me a hug and tell me he loved me. And he wouldn't say nothing to my mom, whatever beef we had or if I misbehaved. He was straight up, man. This is where I get, you know, like sometimes I say something, you don't know where I'm coming from. So I say it to you because that's how he used to talk to me sometimes. Like, I think a lot about him. Like, he would, like, everything else in his world was bullshit. Listen to me. I don't give a fuck what you tell them. I know you're telling me. This is what it's going to be. And he'd tell me, and I'd go, you're right, man.
I mean, it's not always like the sweetest, most nicest, comfortable work environment, but it's better, man. It's better than getting memos and you, at least you tell me what you want. I can work with that. There's so many people who don't know what they want to do.
There's so many people who are fucking geniuses. That's the problem. Especially in this part of the country, especially in this fucking city, where they're geniuses and they really don't have a grip on it. So they make you do, as you and I have discussed, I'm not a big smoke and mirrors type of motherfucker. You and I have discussed this 1,000 times.
Well, because
If you think a lot about a lot of people that are starting one of these things up, it's always, they try to dazzle you. I was always very against that. I go right back to the song remains the same. Led Zeppelin, the concert film. There was no, fucking stages. There was no outfit changes. There was no background singers. It was 4 dirty white dudes. That's all I've ever wanted to be, is a dirty fucking white dude. That's it. Plain and fucking simple. So there's not going to be neon over anything I do. I'm not saying that you like smoke and mirrors. I'm saying that this is what saves you time and energy.
Well,
I'm not into smoke and mirrors.
You're not, but the problem with people here, and I'm one of those people, I just realized, is everyone here has titles that don't mean anything.
No, they don't mean dick.
It's not even that they're not important, but it's like producer. Producer means,
Let me tell you something to you.
8,000 different
things. Oh my
things.
God, Lee, I might get on my hands and knees and lick your fucking juice sack. Because I got to tell you something. On the drive home yesterday, did I not call you when I got in the car on the way home from Marin?
Yeah.
And I came with a conclusion, and you're not going to believe this. You're going to smack me in the mouth and tell you I'm lying to you.
What happened?
I came to a conclusion that there's not a day that I don't go by that I don't meet a producer.
Yeah.
And they always throw in last. So do you understand me, people? It's like, let's say it's always like, so what do you do? Oh, I own my own business. I'm an engineer, and I'm a plumber. What are you doing, Lee? What are you doing? Playing the organ over there? So is it like? Do you feel it's like that? Uh-huh. Like people say to you, instead of saying like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm an actor,
right?
Comic producer.
No,
in the 20 fucking 6 years that I've been hanging out with these fucking Guguts, I have never called myself a fucking producer. I think that is the weirdest word. You are, not me. I don't know nothing about fucking producer. I know nothing.
First of all, you are a producer, but second of all, you were talking about it. You were talking about the shows that actors now have to get producer credits to make money.
Right.
So now, all these people are doing independent projects. So they just put it's when I was a college film student, I put produced by Lee Syatt. I put all those stuff I saw in the movies. I saw, okay, I wrote it, I directed it, I edited it, I produced. I didn't produce nothing. I just did the project. So I think people just use that word for...
I'm an actress, producer.
Yeah, no.
So anyway, back
so,
to
but
being...
you have a job, comedian.
Right. I'm a comedian. I don't know nothing about producing. I don't know what the fuck people are talking about. There's not... That's the reality show. Is you follow me with a secret camera, and how long will it take for somebody to tell me they're a producer? So people have to bet at home, like, how long will this chick with the sunglasses and the tattoo of a pigeon on her arm tell Joey she's a producer?
30 seconds or
30
less.
seconds or less, you get $500. And I have to go up to the broad, start talking to her. And there's somewhere along the line, she's like, bing, I'm a producer. And all of a sudden, fucking bells go off. And she's like, what's going on? What's going on?
That could be a funny game show, like Hollywood buzzwords.
Oh, my God. And I guarantee once a day, for $100 a day, somebody will tell me they're a fucking producer. Every time I go to the comedy store, somebody introduces themselves. And they always drop producer at the end. And I always giggle. And they giggle, and I giggle just a little bit.
Who introduces themselves with their job title?
Everybody in L.A. Hi, my name is da-da-da-da-da. I saw you 2 weeks ago at the whatever. I enjoyed it. I'm a writer and a producer and a director. They'll tell you 3 or 4 titles. I don't even know what the fuck I am. I'm just a mook. I'm just the mook that hangs out with another fucking Jew mook.
Is that your title in your corporation?
Yeah,
head mook?
Head mook. And you're the fucking partner to the head mook, the mook.
The assistant to the assistant mook?
Fucking amazing. Everybody's a fucking producer. I can't. It just destroys my insides. I don't even know where to start. So, like I was telling you before, fucko, as I got to be a little older, something happened. He got mad at me. But then, like about 4 or 5 months before my mom passed, he popped up. And him and I straightened it out, and we were tight again. We went to see a movie together in the city. We used to always go get a steak at this place. He used to take me to get a nice steak with mashed potatoes. You'd like this. They used to put gravy on the steak. I fucking hate gravy. This place was perfect. I forget where it was or what the name of it was. Then my mother died. And then he went to the funeral. He was around for all that. He was around for Thanksgiving. Like I met him like the day before. And then he was around for Christmas, and he told me he was going to Miami. And we spoke on the phone a few times. And then something happened, you know, like I said, out of sight, out of mind. Like I just didn't see him.
Just out of the blue, just stop seeing him.
Just stopped fucking seeing him. I lost contact with him, phone numbers. Whenever he'd call me, I wasn't home. And just something happened over the fucking years. I lost contact with him. I asked around, and people said he was in Miami or something. Excuse me. I guarantee he was doing time or something, and he was just embarrassed to tell me. And I guess at the prison he was at, when you call, you have to call collect. You know?
Oh.
So I didn't really. Sorry about the bottle.
Were you upset? Or were you just too old to care?
You know, Lee, at that point, when I didn't see him for a while, it wasn't that I was upset. It was that I didn't really have family at this point. I had Zoraida.
Okay.
And I love Zoraida. You know, she was a fucking champion. But, you know, I was at war with Juan. You know, I was at war with my stepdad over
For the money, yeah.
over the house, no insurance, blah, 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 you know, and the list goes on. And I fucking, I just needed him in a way. I don't know what it was. I was fucked up on drugs, you know, I was living with the Runnies. I robbed that jewelry store. I left, I came back, you know, then I went to Colorado, and I come back from Colorado. And when I went back to New York in '83, somebody had mentioned to me, hey, man, you know who was looking for you? You're Coco, right? Jose Antonio? Yeah. Your godfather's back in town. And they said he lives somewhere in North Bergen. And
You just put the word out? Oh,
yeah, and I live in North Bergen. I'm like, hold it. No, a friend of his that I knew was a friend of his came up to me at a restaurant. He's like, he's been looking for you. He's back out here, and he's looking for you. He lives in North Bergen, blah, blah, blah. You know, man, I don't know. I must have made calls, and I couldn't get a hold of him. My life went on, you know. I was just a kid trying to put the pieces together. And I went to Colorado, and I came back, and my life went fucking sourly. Like summer of '84, my life goes fucking sour. I'm a young kid. I'm not living in the rocket ship yet. I'm a few months away from the fucking rocket ship, you know? And here's this, I'm hanging out. I had already done a ton of damage. And right now, I'm just walking around with my nose wide open. I'm living from hand to mouth. Who the fuck am I kidding?
What do you mean a ton of damage?
I had just done a ton of damage to my relationships, my friends, myself. You know, I was at this point, I wasn't really talking to Zoraida. I was like on month 3. I'm not talking to Zoraida. I was homeless at this point. I was just staying in people's basements and a couch here, a couch there. My whole life's existence was just to fucking get high. Like the waking up, meeting my friends and partying and giggling and fucking being a jerk off. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't just about that. It was about I just didn't want to work. Everybody wanted to be a big shot. Cocaine was everywhere. You could sell it. People could front it to you. There was just so many different opportunities to make money. And I'm on the fucking. I went from freaking being a killer to nothing, Lee. I'm just walking around the streets trying to turn $20 into fucking 100 so I could get high and drink and be a big shot at the bar with a bunch of jerk-offs that I'll never see again.
You lost it all because of coke?
I lost it all because of me. I lost it all. It was just fucking crazy. It was me and everybody around me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I was talking to a friend of mine. He was telling me about his youth out here that I had never known about. A friend of mine from Jersey, he's an actor. I met him I did a movie with him, and then we did a commercial together, and we always speak on the phone when there's auditions coming up for both of us. And we were talking about, he was telling me about his condition when he was a young guy, that he was getting high with this fucking Hollywood actor, and he was doing coke 3 nights a week, and he started hearing fucking birds and shit, and he had to go to rehab, and just the fact that you're that age and doing that shit. And he was telling me, he goes, I think about it every fucking day because there's shit that goes on in my life today that goes back to that. That was the on a scale of 1 to 10, on the low point being 0, I was at 4 at this point in my life.
Of
just my life. I was living in somebody's house. I didn't have a job. I would work for 3 days to get a paycheck and then I was a fucking kid. I didn't know what was going on. And this October, I had already done damage in California. I had done damage in New York. A couple drug dealers are looking for me in Jersey. I'm just walking the streets by a fucking shoelace. I have no dream, Lee. I'm 21 fucking years old. I got not one dream.
how did you think you were going to live?
I have no fucking idea. By selling drugs and trying to be a fucking professional thief. I don't fucking know, Lee. That was it. That's my option. At that time in my life, at that particular time in my life, that fucking day, there was nothing. There was nothing. There was no fucking hope. There was no hope. I had 3 pair of pants, 7 T-shirts, a pair of shorts, maybe 4 pair of socks, 1 pair of sneakers that were all purpose. I just put Windex on them and clean them off so they looked like they were clean, but they were filthy and they smelled horrible inside because I'd sleep in them and shit outside and in people's houses. I wouldn't take them off so my feet wouldn't stink. It was terrible.
Were you stressed about it or did you not care?
Yeah, I was stressed about it. Parts of me was stressed about it. I didn't know when or how it was going to end. I was looking for an end. And one day...
To your life?
Excuse me?
An end to your life?
No, an end to this life. I was looking for something. I needed a little help. All I needed was a fucking boost to push me over the fucking top. And one day I'm walking in West New York, and who do I see? Babu, my godfather. Now, granted, the night before, I get into a fist fight over money, and my jacket got ripped. I'm walking around with a ripped jacket. What does that tell you?
You don't have much money.
I just look terrible. I just look like a mess. If you saw me, you're like... And I saw my godfather. He gave me a big hug. I cried. I was very emotional. I hadn't seen him. This was my fucking savior, Lee. Holy shit. This dude is going to fucking save me right now. It's all over but the shouting. I'm going to fucking live with him. He's going to lend me his car. I'm going to get money from him, and everything's going to be fine. Or he's going to get money from my godfather, from my father. I'm going to talk him into going over there and getting $50,000 from Juan. So he took me to lunch. He took me to this place, Schlesinger's, and bought me his jacket. And, I would meet him for lunch for a few days and just talk to him. And I asked him, can I live with you and start a new life? And he's like, that's not going to happen.
Why not?
he had gotten married. He had met a woman and he was renting a house and blah, 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 blah. And for those first couple of weeks, it was funny. He held me at arm's length, which really hurt my feelings. You know, at this point, I had been fucking traumatized.
By what?
Huh?
What were you traumatized by?
I'd gone to Miami, and this was a house that I grew up in. And all of a sudden, they acted like they didn't trust me. Like when I was a kid, they'd leave purses out and stuff. All of a sudden, everything was behind locked doors, and I had to ring the bell, and you know. And even though they loved me and they let me live there and the whole thing, everything was completely different. There was a couple things that stood out, and then one day they accused me of something, and I was done, which I knew. I knew was going to happen. Today, I still talk to them now. I talk to my cousin. I talk to the daughter on Facebook, the sister. The one sister, we go back and forth 2 or 3 times a year, but we're not that we're not tight. She just, that was my daughter. That was my mother's goddaughter. That was my mother's goddaughter, Jacqueline. That's why I named my first daughter Jacqueline.
So, but why aren't you guys close?
It was because what went down in Miami in '84, right before I saw Gabby. That was bad for everybody. Like everybody's feelings got hurt. My feelings got hurt. I said a few things I shouldn't have. And then it was all over. My relationship with them was pretty much over. I talked to them maybe 6 years later, and it was after the hurricane in Miami, and they said that they had lost everything, and I hung up and I never spoke to them again. I was very embarrassed. And I called a few times, and the number had changed, and then I got a hold of them a couple of years ago on Facebook, and they came to see me at the Improv, and we chit-chatted. And recently I hit my cousin up, but he had been in a motorcycle accident or something, and he didn't show up. And now we talk on Facebook, and we call each other from time to time. So we're cool now. But before that, I was out here, and I had gotten into the beef with my uncle. So I had just had like 3 situations that I was fucked up over. You know what I'm saying? Because they were family. Why am I going to war with people that I loved, people who I grew up around? Now I see my godfather. And I'm thinking, fuck, I'm home free. Well, that's not the fucking case. He's loving me. He's meeting me for lunch, and he's giving me $50 a day, and he's smoking pot with me. But he's not letting me into his home. He's not. This is what I want. This is what I wanted at this time. I wanted him to take me in and let me get a clean start and let me clean my life together. And he was like, no. And I was like, I need fucking money. He's like, no, I don't have it to give you. He goes, but if you want to sell some fucking blow.
I was gonna ask you if you were clean, would he have done it for you? But I guess
Well, when I was pulling the scam on him too. I didn't want him to know I was doing blow. Like to that side of the family, I wasn't letting them know. Like there was no fucking way I was gonna tell him I was doing powder. I did everything in my power when I was around him not to do powder or be on it from the night before. Like if I called him and he'd go meet me at 1 o'clock, I wouldn't really stay out all night. I would clean up and eat breakfast and do a bunch of shit so I had no alcohol on my breath. So when I met him, I could tell him I got a good night's sleep. You understand me? So I always covered my fucking ends. So it took a while for him to say to me one day, hey, these people you hang out with, none of them do cocaine? And I'm like, I don't know. I got to ask around. So I was playing him. Do you follow me? I didn't grab it right away. I said, let me ask around for a few days. Now I knew I had my hook on him. I already knew I had my hook on him. Now I just needed, if I knew he was watching me, if I went back like a fucking Godzilla, he wasn't going to give me shit. But if I went in and took a couple of days, that's exactly what I did. I took a couple of days. Then he asked me one day at lunch, can you move some shit? And I go, you know what? I asked around. There's some dudes that'll take like, what's 2 of those 3.5 things. I was playing like I knew nothing. And he told me how much. It was dirt cheap to me. I could make money. and I didn't make money. I would just buy it and snort it, and then bring him the cash.
Do you think he was giving you a deal, or was he trying to dip you out of? Like, was he trying to get it over on someone who didn't know anything?
No. He wasn't giving me no. He took really good care. He was giving it to me at cost. In those days, he was giving me, like, let's say in those days, an 8 ball in the city was $250. He was charging me $300 for a quarter, which is 2 8 balls. So instead of paying $250 for one, I was paying $150 and buying two of them. So I could make money hand over fist if I threw, and it was great coke. It was nice and fucking hard right from the chunk. So I could throw fucking 2 grams on it, get 9, take one out, have 8. 8 times fucking 100 is $800 minus 3. I make $500 on each batch, and I snort a gram. Oh no, that wasn't good enough for me. I would snort the whole fucking thing and be a big shot, and then have to show up with fucking $300 the next day. So I would sell 3 grams for $250, and then come up with $50 myself and get a quarter. So I would give them 3, and I would keep the rest for fucking $25. I would do kinky shit like that. I was a fucking mess, my friend. I was a fucking mess. And I kept working it and working it and working it. And I worked it for a few months. I worked it very slowly and patiently, like a surgeon, because I was working a few people at the same time.
I mean, people talk about job stability. Like, you weren't nervous at all, like having no stable income whatsoever?
I didn't need income. I knew I could crash at somebody's house. A hotel room was $19.99 for the night. If I needed sleep, I get a hotel room for 3 nights. Take showers, watch TV, refuel, get a couple Cuban sandwiches, some Chinese food, have Lubes bring me some spaghetti with meatballs, and bam, there I was, Thursday night, ready with his white shoes on, shined, ready to snort coke, do quaaludes, and tell lies. Fuck yeah, Lee.
Like, it gives me anxiety thinking about living like that. Looking back on it, what do you think? What do you think of looking at yourself?
It was terrible. It was totally fucking horrendous. That year, if I could take a few years out of my life, that was 1 year I would have taken out of my life. But on the other hand, I learned so much. I learned so much from that year. I learned what it was to... I think in every man's life, there comes a time when... That was the first time in my life the blinders had been, I don't know if taken off or put on. No.
They were removed.
Yeah. That was the first time I saw the world. That was the first time, Lee. Up to that point, I thought I knew the world, but that was the first time I saw the world. I saw the other side of the world. You know, when I came out here to live out here with my uncle, and he was like, you know, and when I went to Miami, all I wanted at that point in my life was a second chance. And I couldn't fucking get it. And every time I started to get it, I'd blow it. I'd blow it on purpose. 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, I'd blow it. You know, I got an apartment. I had a job in Jersey. Nice little apartment. I blew it. I quit my job, started getting high. I flooded the bathroom. You know, it was just one... it was just one thing after the fucking other. I blew it. And then I started robbing. July of 84, I started fucking robbing, Lee. And I'm talking about whoever, whatever. Drug dealers, pot dealers, pill dealers, people who had money in their house, people I knew, people I didn't know. If I suspected Gitas in your house, I was in your fucking house. Plain and fucking simple. There was a few people I loved that I wouldn't even consider, but everybody else was fucking in danger. Like I was a fucking cancer. Like I was really a straight up cancer, Lee. To the people around me and my neighborhood and to myself. It was weird. If I had a hint that Lee Syatt sold drugs, I was in your house a week and a half after I found out you sold drugs. Except if your grandmother lived there. Like, there's always a backstory. Like, don't break in there because the grandmother's always there. She lives in the apartment with them. Like, there's shit like that you're like, fuck. But for the most part, if you had your apartment empty, I would figure out a way to go in there.
Even if I had locks on all the doors and the windows.
Because I'd wait for a slow time and kick the fucking doors down. I was a kicker. I'd kick your fucking door down. I loved it. Or a bathroom window type of guy, or a window type, whatever. However I could get into your house, I figured out a way to get into your house. There was a lot of places I couldn't get into, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of places that just aren't right. But there's a lot of places that I could get into just like fucking, it was just doing it. Remember, it's just doing it. You don't know how many times I was doing shit and people walked right past me. Right under me. And I was climbing a wall or, you'd be fucking surprised.
And they're just oblivious to you robbing people blind.
Oblivious. They don't even see you climbing or, kicking a door down. You don't know how many times I just kicked the door down, went in. As long as I knew where I was going and I had 2 minutes, I'm good. If I went in there not knowing, then we had a fucking problem.
Were you wearing a mask?
Was I what?
Wearing a mask?
Oh, yeah. I had my little Abe Lincoln mask. Fuck no. I went in there like me, like a fucking no-nonsense type of jerk-off that I was. Can you imagine that? Oh, Lee Syatt. I'm so fucking embarrassed.
You didn't try to hide your identity. That's why you got caught.
Well, no. It wasn't. No. In those days, there was no cameras, Lee Syatt.
No, really?
Nobody had cameras in homes. Nobody had computers. The only time you would get caught is if you robbed a liquor store, you robbed a bank, or if you did shit like that. But people's homes, do you think a drug dealer had cameras in 1983?
I don't know.
Fuck no. No, there was no cameras. There was cameras, but the drug dealers I robbed weren't sophisticated enough to put a camera on the door. There was people, listen, like when you travel and buy drugs. Let's say you came to Miami from Boston to buy drugs.
Okay.
Correct?
Right.
Okay, so you would come on the plane with your wife, okay? And you'd bring Mrs. Syatt, Grandma, your mother.
Okay.
And then you bring your fucking goofy brother and his wife.
Okay.
All right? Okay. So say you go to Miami, you meet Joey Diaz, you give him cash, he gives you blow. Right?
Okay.
He gives you, let's say, 10 kilos. You have to take it back to Boston. Your brother's your partner. You know where you put the coke?
Where?
In your mother's room.
Oh.
Under her bed. But you don't really have contact with your mother in that hotel. This is the weirdest fucking thing. This is how people do it. They don't even know they're involved.
Do they really?
If in the 80s and 70s, that's how people moved drugs. You took your family with you. Made it look like a fucking family vacation. But there's always somebody who stays in the room 24 fucking hours a day. You see what I'm saying? So that nobody could come in your room.
That's a lot of. What do you do if you don't have a mother and a brother combo?
Well, then you just hire people to dress up with fucking wigs and you wing it, Lee. I don't fucking know.
It's a lot of work to be a successful thief or whatever.
Well, yeah, when people came from, let's say when somebody came from Miami to New Jersey to sell drugs, they checked into the Holiday Inn right there off of Route 3 in North Bergen and by Secaucus, right?
Right.
And they had them came in, like they came in as a couple, and then you'd have the mom, and then you'd have fucking two henchmen. The drugs weren't with the henchmen, they were with the mom, because the mom wouldn't leave the fucking room. So once they sold the drugs, even the cash stayed with the mom, because the mom ain't leaving the fucking room. She watches novellas all day, and she fucking orders room service. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? So nobody's gonna kick in the fucking door then.
But wouldn't a hotel?
And if the cops come in, the two dudes are on their own, and this guy's on their own. If you play it correctly, the real pros will put it in a different hotel. This is back in the fucking, I'm talking the late 70s, early 80s. I don't even know why we're talking about this shit. What's your question, cocksucker?
Fuck.
You don't even know.
I know I had it.
Look at the shape of you.
Fuck. Oh, this is it. I would have thought that selling drugs at a hotel would be a bad place because when
Not selling them at the drug. No, you don't sell nothing at the hotel. That's where you stash them on the move.
So where do? Oh, on the move.
So you come
Okay.
from. Let's say a lot of people said, "Fuck it, Lee. You know what? I'll bring them to you, but this is what you're gonna pay me." That's dangerous shit. Bringing drugs to somebody. That always scared the fuck out of me. Taking a plane with coke. That means I got to pay you a premium. You got to pay me a premium. Instead of a kilo being 18, now you got to pay me 21 because I brought it to fucking Boston. You come down to Miami and pick it up at 18. You follow me? Are you with me on here?
Right.
So when they travel with it, the dealer doesn't want to be in the same location with it. A real dealer won't even put it in his hotel. He doesn't even bring the heat to his hotel. He puts in a hotel a mile down the block with some fucking old lady who looks like she's 90 that doesn't do dick. And they just drop it off with her. And when they pick up with the cash, they put the cash with her until they fly down south. And she always has her eyes on that fucking bag. You dig?
There's a lot of trust to have in that old lady.
Well, if she's your fucking mother or your sister, there's trust, cocksucker. It's not like the old lady's going to get up in the middle of the night and fucking, where's she going to go? She's 80, you know what I'm saying? Where's she going to take your money to?
Vegas.
Fucking Vegas. What's she going to do in Vegas? Play slot machines? Get it together, cocksucker.
Fuck yeah. The $15 slots. Look at the doctor.
But here's my godfather. Here I am, vulnerable as shit. And I got my godfather. I fucking got him, Lee. I set him up perfectly. I started working him like the beginning of October. And I loved him, Lee. I got to tell you something, man. For me to tell this shit tonight, I thought about it since like 2 o'clock, since the phone call went down, my buddy. Because there's times I miss him. Like when we first started the podcast, it was about second chances. I'm going to be 53 on Friday. And I wish I could apologize to him. I've tried to look him up on, the social media outlets and shit, the Googles, but went on the street. He retired to Key West with the wife, and they bought a little house. You know what the sick thing about this, Lee? That this even wasn't over the money. This wasn't over the drug addiction. This was over my anger for him. Because I wanted him to be my white knight, my knight in shining armor. If anybody was going to come through from all my experiences with him, I thought he always was going to come through. When I saw him on that street, Lee, I thought all my problems were over. I thought I didn't even have to ask. Do you know what I'm saying? I thought he would take a look at me, and he knew me so well, he'd say, get in the car. We're going to my house, and we're going to wash you up and get you a job and get you a car, and we're going to get you on your feet. That's what I thought he was going to say to me. In turn, he didn't say any of those things. He didn't say he wasn't going to help me. But he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like until he started bringing up the coke and we started having little chats. And like I said, I didn't attack him right away for the coke. I milked him little by little, and then I would make a bigger purchase little by little. And I got him, I think the relationships, I'm getting my dates fucked up. The relationship with me and him started like in September. And it took me about 8 weeks to get him. I got him Halloween weekend. And that's when our little war started. And it's funny because I saw, not only was I sad, like when I first bumped him off, like took the coke from him and didn't pay him the money, I was, look at the shape of you, Lee. I was really sad. But then his behavior after that, I was so fucked up and I was living in such denial. How come my earphones sound fucking weird? I was living in such denial. My earphones sound weird,
What do they sound like?
Like nothing. Like nothing's going on. Either you got to put it louder or you got to do fucking something here. You're killing me here. Now you got to take it off. Look at him. He's fixing shit. Check, 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 check. There you go.
That's as high as it goes.
All right, that's good. No, it sounds better.
Okay.
So I was just hurt by his reaction before I took his money, his coke, and didn't pay him. his fucking reaction really kicked my central nervous system into overdrive. Because I thought he was just going to let it go and go, you know what, man? I get it. He's angry. In a year or two, he'll come around, pay me my money, and we'll fucking write this off. I fucked him over all those years. Maybe he needed me. Fuck no. He came after me super hardly. I mean, gangster fucking hard. Gangster hard. Chased me, went to my fucking places of work, went to my places to hang out, went to where I ate. I mean, it was non-stop, Lee, for about 3 weeks.
And you can never catch up with him?
No, then I disappeared. I disappeared in January of 85. He was looking for me all the way up to like December of 84. He was looking for me maybe till about Thanksgiving. That's when he was looking for me. I heard it from different people. My friend, his uncle had a bar in Union City, and he fucking called me one day. He's like, hey, man, my uncle called me. I said, there's a dude who goes to bars and asks about you. Do you know who the fucking dude is? And I go, white hair? Yeah, that's him. Gabby. He was relentless. He was going all little different dive bars. He'd have a couple drinks. Then he'd drop my fucking name, man. But he never figured out that I was in Bergen County. He looked for me in Hudson County. He would look for me in Hoboken and Union City and different bars in West New York. And at that time, there wasn't too many bars in North Bergen that, so he went into a couple bars in North Bergen once or twice, and that was it. People in North Bergen said they didn't know who the fuck I was or anything.
It's surprising that not one person at one of the bars would have known where you were.
Nobody knew where I was at that time. When I disappeared in those days, there was maybe one, maybe two people who knew that where the fuck I was in 85.
Why would you have it that way?
That's how you have it. When you disappear, how many people are you going to fucking tell? What are you going to tell the whole village I'm leaving to Cresskill? You don't say nothing to nobody.
Right.
In fact, they didn't really know. I just keep in touch with them. I didn't really tell them where I was at. It didn't matter. They were my friends. They wanted to know, but they didn't need to know. The only guy who always knew where I was at was Lubes.
Really?
Yep.
Why did you pick him?
Just because he deserved to know. He always wanted to know. Like Roger and Timmy, they kind of knew, but didn't know. Glenn kind of knew.
Bless you.
Thank you. Allergies in full fucking swing lately, the last 2 or 3 days. That's the way. There you go. Salute, baby. I ain't fucking around. Oh, shit.
You okay?
I'm telling you, my allergies on fucking fire. It was just scary. Like, he chased me.
That's fucking scary.
The first day through these rose bushes by Our Lady of Fatima. And I had fucking thorn bushes everywhere. I was ripped up. Then he showed up at a fucking restaurant in Union City. And he came in there and he goes, I want to talk to you out in the front.
What did you say?
I said, I'll be right out there. And he waited out in the front in his car, and I went out the back door and walked 3 blocks. And as I walked 3 blocks, I saw his car, and there was a bus. And I just jumped on the bus. And I saw him go. Instead of getting behind the bus, he went that way looking for me. So I lost him that time. Then I didn't see him for a while. And I walked into a bar where I used to hang out at. And the lady called me over. And she said, this week and last week, some guy came in here looking for you. Came, had a few drinks, and then said he was family, and he hadn't seen you since your mom died. Spanish dude. So he was looking for me, bro.
Were you avoiding him? Were you actively looking?
No, I was looking for him. I wanted him to find me. I just knocked him over for fucking 4 ounces of blow, 5 ounces of blow. Yeah, I was sitting there with my camouflage.
What is it like to have someone looking for me? I've never had anyone looking for me.
Horrible. Horrendous.
Were you nervous every time like the door wasn't like there's a knock?
Well, the bars I went to, October, November, and December, you had 20 people deep. I had 20 people deep. He wasn't going to go in there and rip me out of there. Do you follow me? I knew the only thing he had on me was if I got in the car kind of fucked up, and he'd get in the car and follow me. And you always had to watch for that, and I always had my eye out for that. Anybody who got behind this or something, him on a motorcycle. No, I'm lying to you. I didn't even know about the motorcycle at that point. He showed up on a motorcycle the day I was leaving. So I didn't see him from December of 1984. I didn't see him. I was living in Fort Lee. I was living in Cresskill, hiding out up there in Bergen County. I was living in Teaneck or Tenafly. I always forget which one. I got arrested in one of those motherfuckers in Tenafly for possession of stolen fucking property or some shit. And then I didn't see him. And do you know that the day I was leaving for fucking Boulder, I saw him on a motorcycle. And he pulled up to me on a motorcycle. And he said, he goes, you never came by with that money. I'm fucking heartbroken. He goes, the next time I see you, I'm going to put a bullet in your fucking leg. And he just took off on his motorcycle. I shit a brick. But it was like so ironic that he said that to me the last day I was in New Jersey. Like I remember getting on that fucking plane going, whew, that was fucked up. I don't see somebody for 6 months. And the day I'm fucking leaving, I bump into this fucking schlep at a White Castle parking lot, and he's on a motorcycle.
Was he on the motorcycle to follow you, or he just?
No, he was just taking a morning Sunday drive. I mean, he really was. And there I was waiting for a fucking bus. Excuse me. Edit that out, Lee. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people's fucking. I'm sorry, I just got bad allergies. This fucking flu, El Nino, and this rain and shit, whatever the fuck it is. That's the last time. And I gotta tell you something. When he spoke to me, I cried a little bit. Like I cried on the bus. I fucked him over.
Because you felt bad about what you did?
Absolutely. I'm not proud of no point about what I did. At that point right there, I was disgusted with myself.
How did you justify it?
It wasn't the money with me and him. I had broken his fucking heart. I was his godson, for Christ's sakes. If I would have knocked on his door and given him a few grand and said, hey, man, let me give you a few hundred every few weeks, me and him would have been cool now. I've tried looking for him. I've tried just to apologize and send him a check, something. I can't find him. I don't want him to go to his grave hating me. He's got to be 80 now, 70, but he was always in good shape. He didn't drink. He didn't smoke cigarettes. He fucking smoked weed. And he was, when I did that with the coke with him, if I was 21, he was 50 maybe or something, maybe 40 something.
Oh, so he's at least 80 now.
He's almost 80 now. I would love to give him a hug and tell him I'm sorry and I fucked up what I did to you. It was horrifying. Horrifying. That's not even the type of person I am. But at that point in my life, that's what I had to do. That I felt so fucking angry. And so I felt like he had thrown, like out of all the people in the world, I never thought that he would have thrown me to the wolves. Like after my mom died, maybe a year or two, he would have showed up in a car one day and said, listen, you're with me. I got a house. You take the downstairs. We're going to get a fruit business or something like that. That was like one of my dreams, to have a business with him. That's how much I loved and trusted this motherfucker. But when he shattered my fucking vision, and okay, so not even that. At least put me in your basement and let me get my life started. and I could, I'm laughing because Lee is fucked up, ladies and gentlemen. 600 milligrams.
8.
You didn't do no 8.
I did too.
You gotta eat one more.
I did 800.
You threw that one in the garbage.
No, I didn't.
I just, in a way, I feel it's a punishment to my daughter not to have a good father. a good godfather now, like somebody local. Like that's. It was just a weird feeling for me as a child to have that. Even that my mom trusted him. He never did anything bad to me. I mean, he was always a gentleman. He always made me have a good time. Like, when somebody goes out of their way for you to have a good time.
Well, especially at the movies as a young kid, it's such a fun place. You let them get a popcorn.
Like, he would take me to R-rated movies.
Yeah.
Like he took me to the Valachi Papers when I was a kid. He took me to...
Stuff Mom won't take you to.
No, well, my mom didn't give a fuck either. But it was weird how he made a big deal about, like, listen, today we're going to take you to a movie and they're going to show us women's titties. Can you handle that? And I'd sit there like, I don't even know what titties are. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I knew what titties were. I was just playing him. So he felt good that he took me to see a tit. Do you follow me?
I feel you.
So he would talk to me like that. We're going to go down there and we'd take the train, even though he had a badass car. He'd park it and we'd walk a little bit, then we'd take the fucking train. So on the walk to the movie theater, he could always toke a little bit. And then we'd go eat and he'd smoke on the way to toke there. He lit his joints with matches. And he hid his roaches behind the matchbook. Fucking craziness. I still remember this shit. I miss him. That's it. I miss him and I'm sorry that I fucked him over. And I wish I would have had a second chance to just justify what I had done. Like I said, it wasn't about the money in his world. It wasn't about the money with me. I feel terrible now.
Maybe somebody out there will know him. Well, what about your uncle? Any update on that situation?
No. Jim Hoyt, Tony Jack the Bear Mance, Pat Shea, Eddie Brancaccio, my childhood friend, Stephen Peterson, Cam One, James Harrison, and the Squid Room podcast representing as motherfucking usual cocksuckers. No, it was very sad. This is the shit I think around my birthday. I think about how lucky I am. I mean, I talked to J-Mo Schmidt yesterday, a childhood friend of mine, that one time I dropped barbells on top of him because a ball of sweat fell off my nose right into his mouth. Tremendous while he was bench pressing. And he was like, "Look, I'm going to your show Friday night, I'm calling you Thursday," and all this shit. And he's like, "How old are you going to be, 53? He goes, "If I was fucking in that basement, I would have given you 5 more fucking years." It's true. 50 fucking 3.
How old were you in the basement?
18.
Fuck.
19. Lifting weights in the summer, 100%. 100 degrees, 100% motherfucking humidity, Lee Syatt. Sweating just for walking. You know what I'm saying? That thick, fat sweat. And I wasn't even fat then. I was thin as fuck. I was eating tuna out of a can. I wanted to fucking cut weight like Mike Menster. I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I just had no fucking biceps. Lee Syatt, you fucked up tonight. Getting ready for Las Vegas. How much cash you bringing? Dupe me up a little bit. How much you cutting? How much you taking out from the mattress?
Maybe like 200, 300.
Stop, Liam. Come on. Start from scratch. How much? Make believe. We'll edit that piece out. 200, 300.
That's all. I mean, 10,000.
Take the fucking coins out. How many coins you got left?
What do you mean?
Don't check the coin. The coin collection. What happened to it?
I do have a $1 coin from the hotel that I can't find. I'm pissed about.
Well, I thought you had like some coin collection you were going to take to Vegas next time and bet the farm. Take it to one of those pawn shop guys and get 30 cents on the dollar. You have a good time in Vegas. That's why I
love Vegas.
Nobody makes me happier than watching him, even after he loses, because he has a smile on his face, but it's a stupid look on his face at the smile. If he wins $10, you'll never see anybody happy than this fucking guy. All he needs to win is 12-22. Lawrence, our friend Larry, fucking gave him some winners. He wouldn't shut the fuck up about it for 3 fucking days.
I like winning money. It's awesome.
I only play Wheel of Fortune. I put a 20 in there. And once the fucking 20 runs out, I'm done.
Yeah, but then when I was about to sit down, that other girl sat down and won $300 on on those games.
Yeah, I know. Don't fucking remind me, cocksucker. I also was gonna be your fucking quick Charlie, and you fucking lost my investment.
You walk away during a heater. How could you walk away?
Shut the fuck up, bitch. You would have kissed a death that night. You were worse than the Kardashian. What's going on, man? I was really sad this morning.
Why?
The last couple of days, I've been in a weird mood since Monday. Because you're going to have a birthday, and you think about what the fuck you did and what the fuck you didn't do. I was thinking about what my godfather says. Sometimes I get into conversations with Leah about midnight about his girlfriend, about her attorney, and we start picking her career. We get so high. We start talking about how we're going to make her a weed attorney and how she's going to move to Portland and run a firm and shit. And it's all bullshit, but it's so weird how, because of Gabby, like that bothered me. Like that was the other thing that bothered me. That he used to always tell me I should have gone into the service and became an attorney. Like that bothers me today in a way that I didn't become an attorney. There's nothing I could do now. I got shit going on. What am I going to do? Go back to law school at this age?
That'd be a great documentary.
Oh, God almighty. My head would blow up if I had to read what Paula reads. You can't get high.
I'm sure you could.
No. Listen.
Well, during school.
Let me tell you something.
No, I mean,
I'm half retarded. My comprehension level is already fucking gone. There was days on the Marin set that every fucking scene, there was one line that twisted me up that I could not fucking say. Like, that's how old I'm getting. Something's going on. There was one line in every fucking scene, Lee Syatt, that I fucked up.
Doesn't that happen to everybody?
Not really. Not fucking really.
Did it piss you off?
Didn't piss me off. It just disappointed me. You're getting old. That's it. You're not as fucking, you could take 19 alpha brains. You're still 53. You know what I'm saying? 53 is 53. You look at my brain looking, all right, all these people getting concussions. I never got hit in the head playing football, right? But I got hit in the head in the motorcycle. Then I got hit in the head with the flashlight when I was fucking 5 or 6, right? With the fucking container from the fucking lunchbox.
Right.
All right. And throughout the years, I got punched in the head a few fucking times. I landed on my head a few times. Right? Now you add all that up. Now you got to add the drugs. Right? That don't fucking help nobody. That's like the left side of your brain is just shot. Like it just yells from time to time. And then you got to add the fucking trauma. You got to really add in. I went to see Dr. Amy last week, and she got a new contraption. And she puts it on my ears, and she goes, I'm going to find what pain you have. You have physical pain, mental pain, personal pain. I'll find the fucking pain with this. And it's like this little thing. Then they stick a needle in your ear sideways. You got to take a breath. You got to go, because it hurts a little bit. Like it fucking hurts, and they put this needle in. And then afterwards, she goes, do you feel a lot better? And she goes, this tells you it's a gauge on your pain. You have like a lot of pain. Do I have a lot of pain? Who the fuck knows if I have a lot of pain? Sometimes I wake up and I think of shit like this about my godfather, and that gives me pain because I knew I was a better person when I did it, I was a way fucking better person when I did that shit. And now I gotta live with it. I know he's dead, I wish he wasn't, and I wish there was a way I could find him down at Key West or wherever the fuck he is. But I know I can't fucking find him. I've tried. Every Google Express, and you know what? Nothing comes up. Well, that's the weird thing. Like, let's say I press, there's people I look for from time to time. I remember, and I go, I wonder where he is. Then you have that service that pops up that says there's 5 Lee Syatts in this area. Right. And then you have to look through them, and maybe you recognize his kids' names or his wife's name, and that's how you pick him. You go, oh, shit. He is fucking alive. But then when you click on there, they want like $92.50 to give you the name and the phone number, and then you got to subscribe every month, and there's a by the way. And if you cancel, you got to cancel 6 months in advance, and you got to write a written letter certified by the fucking judge of Connecticut who died, Judge Scalia. You got to fucking do all this. Fuck it, then I won't do it. So, but no, there's nothing. Nothing for him. Not at all. So, Lee, Get it together. I'm going to have to read sponsors. Look at the shape of you. Nah, not that we were going on.
Sure, let's
How the
go.
fuck? No, I got shit to do and people to see you over here fucking. Your eyes are in the back of your. How you gonna fucking drive?
Oh, I have no plans of doing that at
And
all.
you still gotta eat one more star.
Hell no.
You got another brownie in there with your name on it. How many podcasts you do today? Like 19? 4.
2. No, just 2. Just 2, and then talked with about doing one in AfterBuzz, so that might be happening.
And right now, at this point in my life, it's been a long time. I don't talk to my daughter, but I have no right to say this to anybody. But what this podcast was about was this shit not happening to you, man. If you have a relative you're having beef with right now over fucking something stupid, think about it. Because now, 30 years later, I wish I could hug Gabby. I wish I could introduce him to my daughter. There's so many things that I wish I could have taken. I could have taken him to a premiere. I could have taken, you know what I'm saying? I let him down so much that I'd like to make him proud of me, And fuck it.
Do you think you're living in a way that would make him proud now?
You what?
Do you think you're living in a way that would make him proud now?
Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Absolutely. If he saw me 30 years ago and saw me now, he would go, I don't know how you pulled it off. I don't know how the fuck you pulled it off. But God bless you. Thank you for giving me my money. I'm fucking 80. I need it now more than ever. The government don't send you checks. Whatever. I would give him the money. I don't care.
So, I guess that's really all you can do. If you're living in a way that he would approve of, hopefully he's still alive.
Listen, all those people that I wronged coming up, man, in that way, like my family, like my uncle. You asked about my uncle. I'm blown away around my uncle. Pokey, our friend Pokey, is in Cuba. The deal was, I was going to see Pokey this week before she left, give her cash for her trip, and give her a package to take my sister. The problem was, my cousin called my wife
Okay.
the day after Christmas and said, we have a Christmas present for Mercy. Plus, my brother went to Cuba. We have a letter for Joey from his family. So I was waiting to get the letter so I could disperse whatever the fuck I had to do with the Stacy. It's February what?
16, 17.
I still haven't, my cousin still hasn't called my wife. Now, they got a lot of shit going on up there. Me and my uncle, the chit-chat between me and my uncle that we're not talking no more. Does it break my heart? It breaks my heart in many ways. But between you and I'm 53. I didn't talk to him for 35 of those fucking years or something. I didn't talk to him from 84 to 2009. For 25 years, we didn't talk. He never hunted me down. One time, a friend of mine came to me and said, you know who called my house the other day? Your uncle. Saying a bunch of shit about you. If I knew how to find you, blah, blah, blah. He never, ever did he reach out after that. That was just... And when I reached out to my uncle, I reached out to him. I apologized like a man. I apologized for what I had done. And I asked him for a second chance. And he said, absolutely, swing by the bar. And I went over there and I shook his hand. And I talked to him for a little while. And I would take him out to lunch for a year or two, every Monday, like clockwork. I would call him 6 times a week. When I was do those gigs late night, I'd call him at 11 o'clock at night. Theo, what's going on? Mm-hmm. We'd talk for fucking 45 minutes about Cuba, music, a piece of ass he got, testosterone. I was contacting him more than his kids. I took him to a few baseball games. I invited, I used to take him to breakfast with my daughter and my wife. I did everything I can. He was the first, the second guy to show up at the hospital. My wife had the baby. And one day it just ended. What do you want me to do, Lee? Do you want me to go knock on his door and apologize and try to rekindle it? We gave it a shot. It didn't work out. I'm cool with that. He got to meet my daughter. He got to meet my wife. And he got to see me in a great place. He really did. I'm cool with my uncle because my uncle got to see me in a great place. He got to watch Grudge Match. He watched The Longest Yard. He watched Spider-Man. He came to watch me do stand-up. I ate dick, but at least he came. We had him on the podcast in the old place.
Right, the first office.
The first office. I mean, I was cool with my uncle. We haven't spoken now for a year. Do I miss him? Fuck yeah, I miss him. But you know what, Lee? That just wasn't meant to be. And I live with that every day like a man. I don't give a fuck. And listen, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not mad at all. I'm hurt that he hasn't reached out to my daughter. That destroys me because that's something that has nothing to do with her. That's what gets under my skin. That he could put an envelope. He doesn't need to send $10, nothing. Just a card to say mercy from your great uncle Lazaro, and I'd be straight with it. But for him to shut him and my wife off, my wife liked my uncle. My wife dug my uncle. She got a kick out of him. He's old, dog. You know, old dudes are fucking a pisser. They're a fucking pisser, live in their own world. All I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying? If you're at war with somebody, talk to them. So you don't feel as bad as I do on my birthday every fucking year. That's it. Give me the fucking sponsor sheets. What are you looking at me all weird for? What do you got tomorrow, cocksucker?
Tomorrow, I have a couple consultations.
Look at you. Johnny fucking consultation. More consultations than consultations.
I know, it's been good.
At least you're going to fucking jiu-jitsu. You know, it's funny. Ever since I've been reading up on these guys, at the end of my workouts lately, I just sit there and I breathe and I close my eyes and I look at my third eye like you're doing right now. And this Headspace stuff, it's tremendous. Because let's be honest, most of your problems start with your mind. Fear, which I have a ton of when I go to jiu-jitsu. Anger, that's me. Stress. Anxiety, I live in fucking Anxietyville. Depression, sleeplessness, that's fucking me. They begin in your head, but they can wreck your fucking life. It doesn't have to be that way. You can make a major difference in just 10 minutes a day. This change comes through guided meditation with the new Headspace app. Listen to me. A new Headspace app. Headspace is meditation made simple. It's guided meditation you listen to whenever you want, wherever you want, right on your phone, computer, or tablet. Meditation is rooted in thousands of years of tradition, with thousands of scientific studies that show its positive effects like improving focus, relationship, harmony, decreasing anxiety, and stress. Join over 5 million users already getting Headspace for free. Listen, free right now. Do me a favor, download the free Headspace app and begin their Take 10 program for 10 days of guided meditation at headspace.com/Joey. The Headspace Take 10 program is a 100% free way to experience the benefits of meditation in your busy modern life. We know you're busy. Everybody's fucking busy. Everybody's going here, everybody's going there. You download the app, boom, boom, boom. You start your little 10-minute, you go in the corner, you look at the wall. You close your eyes in the middle of everything, there you are. You train your mind for a healthier, less stressed life. Start your free trial today at headspace.com/Joey. This Headspace is a tremendous app. Give it a shot. You're going to be very, very happy that you gave it a shot, okay? And reference Andy Petticomb's TED Talk, which has over 5 million views. It'll come up in Google and under Andy Petticombe TED Talk. Andy is the founder of Headspace and the voice you hear on the app. You don't need to put aside loads of time or emigrate to Tibet. They did that for you. This guy was a monk for 10 years. He knows his stuff. 10 minutes is relatively easy to find, but it takes a little effort. Go to headspace.com/Joey, all right? That's what I'm trying to say to you. What's up, Lee?
I'm doing great, man.
You're over there in your own meditation little world, aren't you?
I am. I'm doing the Headspace Take 10 program.
All right, beautiful. You need to start it. Also, who's better than you guys? You smoke a few roots, you eat your blue apron, now you're sitting there. You're thinking, Joey, what the fuck? I'm sitting here, I'm a little hungry. Boom! This Uncle Joey comes in. The church is also brought to you by naturebox.com, dedicated to making smart, delicious snacks easy, okay? You deserve better than those high fructose corn syrup and red dye 578 and all that bullshit. What you deserve is finding a snack that has a different range of options, from healthy to indulgent. They combine unique flavors with ingredients you can pronounce to create great snacks that you might want to eat and share anywhere. From sriracha roasted cashews to peanut butter nom noms to the salt and pepper garbanzo. I mean, listen, they have some stuff. You just have to go to naturebox.com right now. You'll never get bored with NatureBox snacks because every single month they release new snacks to choose from, like the aged cheddar lentil loops or the garlic bread cheese crisps. My favorite is the black and white lentil loops. Unbelievable. They're a little spicy. Even my daughter eats them. Do me a favor. Say goodbye to the weird mystery ingredients and start snacking confidently with NatureBox. Visit naturebox.com/Joey. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. 50% off your first order right now. A whole box. 5 bags in a box. Tremendous. 3 big ones, 2 little ones. You go to naturebox.com right now. Head to naturebox.com right now and get the right snacks for 2016. Enough with the chitter chatter. One last time. That's naturebox.com. I'm giving you 50% off your first order of delicious, high-quality snacks sent directly to your doorstep. Who's better than Uncle Joey right now?
Naturebox.com/Joey.
Naturebox.com/Joey. There you go. And also to my main brothers over at Onnit.com. Beautiful. Alpha Brain, always making it happen. Making you focus. 100% money back guarantee. We don't even want the product back, okay? You want kettlebells. They got kettlebells. You want the heavy kettlebells. They got the heavy kettlebells. You want hemp protein. They got hemp protein. You want
the DVDs. They have supplements. They have...
Listen, do me a favor. Go to Onnit.com right now. I can't help you with the DVDs, and I can't help you with the kettlebells. But with the supplements, I'll get you 10% off your first order, all right? And if you do the Stay On It program, it gets delivered to your door. Listen, like NatureBox, to your door every month on the 1st. It's better than a check from the government. You understand me? Go to Onnit.com right now and press in
Church
and get 10% off your first order. Do me that favor right now. Also, give Headspace a try. Headspace app is a great little app for yourself. Like I said, I need to meditate a little more. I don't take it that seriously, but I've been trying to just stop and breathe. And I haven't downloaded the app. I downloaded it when I first got it, but now I got to do it more on a rotation, just like I've been trying to do everything else. So NatureBox, Headspace, Onnit, I love you cocksuckers. Don't forget Las Vegas, Friday, Saturday, and the next time you'll see me is San Jose, March 10th to the 12th. I'm taking a little sabbatical with Lee over here, getting them in fucking tip-top shape. Look at them. We're in training. We're going for 10-star. We're going for 1,000 milligrams on my birthday. Walk around the casino with one arm. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. One beautiful podcast with my little brother, Lee Syatt. Have a great weekend. We'll be back Monday with Mike Dowd. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.